What's good? It's Woog. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel if you're into the music talk. So Verzuz, the Instagram live music catalog battle started by Swizz Beatz, just announced that they're doing a Jadakiss versus Fabolous battle this weekend. So what does this one signify in hip hop, and how do these two artists stack up versus one another? Well, first of all, I don't really think that these two careers can be measured in commercial success. The hip-hop heads who are the truest Jada and Fab fans are not generally fans because of the pop singles that they recorded, but more so because at their best, these two were both rappers. Jadakiss has that raspy voice and the menacing delivery. Fabolous is smooth, kicking clever punchlines so casually. But let's get into some background, then we'll discuss their catalogs. Jadakiss is 1/3 of The LOX and 1/4 of D Block, and he had first started to gain notoriety by rapping with childhood friends Styles P and Sheek Louch, forming the Warlocks. Then fellow Yonkers, New York native Mary J. Blige handed their demo to Puff Daddy in the mid-90s, just as Bad Boy was elevating with the success of Biggie's Ready to Die and Craig Mack's Flavor in Your Ear. Fabolous grew up in Brooklyn, New York, specifically Bed-Stuy, or Bedford-Stuyvesant, the same neighborhood that Biggie Smalls grew up in. Young Fab was associated with the Low Life crew as a kid. That's the New York crew. They've got documentaries, Vice episodes on them. The New York crew that was famous for rocking Ralph Lauren polo attire because polo kind of became a culture of its own in NYC. And the Low Life crew would run up in stores and come out with the freshest gear. They would just flash mob a store, grab a whole bunch of gear, and dash out. They've got songs about it. Look up The Million Man Rush by underground rap legend and Low Life member Thurston Howell III. He was popping in that Raucous Records, Sound Bombing, Lyricist Lounge era scene. That's the same movement that helped spawn the careers of Mos Def, Company Flow's LP, who's now one half of Run the Jewels. Raucous Records also provided the platform that helped Common transition from his early to mid-90s stage of his career to the neo-soul era, where he would drop albums like Water for Chocolate with The Light. They helped launch Eminem in the underground, along with Sway and Tech, The Wake Up Show, and others, before Dr. Dre even discovered him. Raucous was poppin', and Thurston Howell III from Low Life was about as unorthodox and unpredictable an MC as there was in the scene. He didn't have the smoothest flow, but he did have some of the most jaw-dropping lines, some of which you had to hear and then think about for a second and be like, ah. But yeah, Thurston Howell III had his own vibe, and Fabolous was a kid at this time, a young associate with the same movement. In fact, Fabolous's rap name was first Fabulous Sport, named after the Ralph Lauren line. Then Fab started really trying to make it in rap during his senior year in high school. He caught the attention of super duper radio DJ at the time, DJ Clue, who was about as influential as it gets as a rap DJ. On his Hot 97 radio show, through his mixtapes, albums, features, you couldn't get through 90s hip hop without hearing dozens, if not hundreds of songs and freestyles that featured the DJ Clue, or just Clue, or Cluminati. But yeah, he discovered Fabolous, featured him on his radio show in a freestyle, I believe, with Nori, and the rest is really history, because he was then featured on DJ Clue's The Professional albums, which at the time were a big deal, especially the first. So Fabolous would slowly bubble for the next couple or so years, and then in 2001, he dropped the Ghetto Fabolous debut album, which had the Can't Deny It single with Nate Dogg, produced by Rick Rock, not Ross, but Rick Rock, who did a lot of work for E40 and others. He did Jay-Z's Change the Game from the Dynasty album. But Fab's first single, Can't Deny It, was a hit. Ghetto Fabolous did well, and his feature on Lil Mo's Superwoman Part 2 from that same year might have been bigger than both. So Fabolous was hot out the gate. Jadakiss and his group, The LOX, got signed to Bad Boy around 97, then came on just as Biggie passed. They were a part of the efforts to fill that huge void that Biggie's passing immediately left in hip-hop, especially in New York hip-hop. And Bad Boy did their best to make it through without Biggie, with Puff's solo work, Mace, Black Rob, and with The LOX. 112 in total too, but I'm more so talking hip-hop. The LOX were featured on Life After Death, which was released the same month as Biggie's murder. Once Biggie passed, Puffy made this enormous hit with the Biggie tribute song I'll Be Missing You, which is a take on I'll Be Watching You by Sting's The Police. The B-side to that #1 mega hit tribute single was We'll Always Love Big Papa, another big tribute, but this time by The LOX, produced by Stevie J. Yes, that's Stevie J. one of Puffy's production Hitmen members, who also produced Biggie's Notorious Thugs featuring Bone Thugs and Harmony. By the way, Swizz Beatz, when is that Bone Thugs and Harmony 3-6 Mafia versus battle supposed to be? And is it still happening? Anyway, most people still didn't really know who the LOX were at the time of that We'll Always Love Big Papa tribute song. Even I was thinking, what's their connection to Biggie aside from being on the same label that he was on? I would have expected maybe Junior Mafia, Lil C's to do a track like that, but this was a Bad Boy thing, and the song did bring awareness to Puffy's new group, The LOX. The song was also later featured on their debut album, Money, Power, and Respect. But their biggest pre-debut album breakthrough was their feature on the All About the Benjamins remix from Puff Daddy and the Family's smash album, No Way Out. It was supposed to be called Hell Up in Harlem, but No Way Out, released towards the end of '97. It was actually this song and their feature on the remix to Mariah Carey's lead single, Honey, also produced by Stevie J, along with Q-Tip of A Tribe Called Quest and the Uma, from Mariah Carey's album, Butterfly, that really had the LOX becoming a name that was well known in the game. This all led up to the release of their debut album, Money, Power, and Respect, which was Jadakiss' first mainstream project. See, he was known to the hip-hop world through his identity as a LOX member, whereas Fabolous was a solo artist straight out the gate. And I have to say, it's one thing to hold down an album as a member of a group, and it's another thing to have to create and deliver all 3 verses of all 12 or 15 songs versus having to rep with one verse alongside your fellow brethren, and you guys carry the song together. I mean, Fabolous did use features, but these were often just the choruses. Fabolous had to do a lot of the rapping from the jump, and boy did he. Ghetto Fabolous was supposed to sound like a poppier rap record. And this came out like 3-4 years after the LOX Money, Power, Respect debut. The LOX dropped in the beginning of '98. Remember, Biggie died almost a year prior. Then the LOX dropped that '98 debut. Then they left Bad Boy for Rough Riders, who'd actually discovered them first, but that's another story. They then dropped their second album in 2000, We Are the Streets, which had a grittier sound. This is when Swizz Beatz was about as hot as any producer. And keep in mind, the LOX Money, Power, and Respect debut kind of pissed a lot of the New York rap fans off, especially those who were fans during that early to mid-90s run of New York classics and that grittier sound. Money, Power, Respect just embodies the jiggy era, as it was called at the time. We hardcore hip-hop fans hated that. It was a bunch of shiny suits and 80s-inspired dance rap beats. We liked that ashy knuckle, bubble goose jacket, and Timberland boots sound. I'm talking that New York rap that sounds more cold than it does summertime. You would listen to Jadakiss verses and you're thinking that him and the LOX can be like the next Prodigy and Mobb Deep. Rest in peace to Prodigy. But New York rap at the time, led by Bad Boy, was taking rap in another direction. But the hardcore fans, while disappointed, still rocked with the LOX. They still felt that the MCs were dope, with Jadakiss being the early fan favorite, but Money, Power, and Respect didn't give the fans what they wanted. Don't get me wrong, it had a couple successful singles. The title track featuring Lil' Kim and DMX, and then If You Think I'm Jiggy, the album's lead single that's really aged kind of terribly. But that second album, We Are the Streets, came a lot closer to representing that LOX type of sound that we wanted. Although it still felt like it somewhat missed the mark, it was definitely grittier than Money, Power, and Respect though. And I'm just talking beats and production style here. It's not like Jada, Sheik, and Styles were rapping like Will Smith on those early records, although they did both have singles with the word jiggy in it. But the LOX MCs were usually rapping that street stuff, but I'm talking about the beats and the overall sound. Fabolous, on the other hand, was kind of expected to have a pop-friendly sound. So the beginning of Fabolous and Jada's careers really came down to expectations, in which case, Fabolous won those early rounds with his pop success, whereas lyrics aside, the LOX became a little misidentified, misappropriated, or just came into the game at the wrong time with their early pop approach, which in turn kind of hurt their career. But people did still come away from it thinking, but damn, Jadakiss is nice. So that's where we'll leave it for now, but I'm about to drop a follow-up to this where we dive deeper into their discographies and determine who, between the two, has the upper hand catalog-wise. But let me know your thoughts and whether you have a favorite between these two, and whether you preferred their early, middle, or later part of their careers. Please, again, like the video, subscribe to the channel if you're into the music talk. I'm Woog, thanks for tuning in.
You ready? Look. One day my music when it hits you feel no pain. White folks that control your brain. I know pay that, that's game, and we ready for that. Two soldiers head of the pack, who got the cap? And where my army at? Brother attacking, I react, back the beat. It don't reflect on how many records you sold. On sectors and rock and roll. On your project to old home. In the real world, these just people with ideas. They just like me and you with a smoking camera. Just some pictures in the real world. The thing they only making records. White folks got the millions and my sister disrespected. If you check into my way to back to you, it just relax. Don't do what you got to do and that don't work and get the balance. You a rider, or you wanna just get high and just say. But then if you are high, that's a war. Crazy winner, I'm gonna know we win the party. It's bigger than. It's bigger than. Who shot Tupac? We don't get them niggas, get us all. I'm back until they sit.